Good morning, everybody. We are in Wamsutter, Wyoming. Been sitting for about 37 hours. Unplanned reset. A couple of days ago, I was coming through here and they had 70 plus mile an hour winds, gusting as high as 80, especially between here and Laramie, which is pretty normal. Well, then we got a winter storm that rolled in, and it started snowing. We got ice, and road conditions just weren't safe for us to drive. That's all there is to it. I was fine where I was. It was east of me that was the problem. Now, to put this in perspective, we're at the Loves. The next available parking spot is in Rawlins. But once you get past Rawlins, going eastbound, there's no parking for about 115 miles.
Please proceed with caution.
Heck, there's a patch of ice right there. We will not be using cruise control today.
Turn left onto I-80 toward US 30 East.
Now, I got a lot of questions about why I was sitting as much as I was. I didn't feel it was safe. Plain and simple. Driver next to me worked for the same company. He decided to roll out yesterday after I deemed that it wasn't safe. Unfortunately, that was a bad decision for him.
87 miles ahead. Use the left 2 lanes to stay on I-80 East.
I will not go into details, but I will say it did not end well. Now, according to Wyoming DOT road conditions map, we should have dry roads with slick in spots between here and Rawlins. We're going to pick up fuel, and then we got to get over Elk Mountain. According to the WYDOT road information, Elk Mountain is mostly black ice still, and has been for about 2.5 days. So there's a pretty high chance that it's going to get dicey. I hope it doesn't. There's nothing out here. So if you mess up out here, there's a very high possibility of it being hours before somebody gets to you, especially in a storm. Now, I'd originally told dispatch I was going to roll out at midnight. It is currently 2 o'clock. The reason I waited is because on Elk Mountain, there was a severe accident that shut down westbound. If it's bad enough an hour ago to cause that, there's still a very high possibility of it being very dicey for us. But we'll take it as it comes. All right, so we're driving through the town of Elk Mountain. This is not the mountain itself. That's yet to come. Now you can see on the right-hand shoulder there, it looks a little wet in spots. That is not wet, it's ice. And I have been seeing patches on the road. So far, we've been able to maintain speed. Fingers crossed that it stays that way. The wind is definitely starting to pick up as it's coming down the mountain. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. Now at the top of the mountain, there is a rest area off of Happy Jack Road. But finding a spot at this hour, that's gonna be a shot in the dark. No pun intended. Especially with the weather the way it's been. Alright, speed limit's still 65. Alright. Yeah, you can start to see some of the spots on the road, and there's the blowing snow. Ooh, that was a little slick. There's a spot in the left lane. You can see the ice. Guaranteed that's slicker than a hockey rink. Ooh, there's a spot right there. Hey, whoa. Yeah, it's slick, all right. Now remember the speed limit that they've got up, because it's a variable speed limit, is a maximum. That does not mean that you can just do 65. Must still drive to the conditions. Another patch of ice right there. It's going to spread a little bit. Maybe. Yep, there's a spot. There's a whole stretch, right? Whoa! That's black ice. when you're doing this, keep your eyes on that trailer. Remember, we don't drive the truck. We drive the trailer. Starting to lose dry pavement here. Oh, shit. All right, slow it down. Starting to wag on me a little bit. Hey, shut off the high beams, man. Now, what happened back there is I hit that patch of ice. My tires started to break free a little bit. The trailer started to wag. That's a recipe for a jackknife. All right, National Weather Service just issued a high wind warning. 45 plus mile an hour winds gusting as high as 60. Peachy. I won't know until I go into editing whether or not you can hear the wind gusting around the truck. But if you can hear it, I'll leave it in there. Now, one of the things about the wind in Wyoming that you must always keep in mind. If you've got a strong wind this early in the morning, mind you, it's just after 4:15 in the morning. When the sun comes up, the wind is going to increase. It's meteorology and thermal effects. So, when you're trying to get through Wyoming, and the big thing you're dealing with is wind, which is normal out here, your best chances are between midnight and 4 a.m. because the thermals will start to kick up about 4 a.m. Once that sun comes up, you're done. If you're not past the wind zone, by the time the sun comes up, you're not getting past it. I've seen many times where between midnight and 4 a.m., it's almost dead calm. And between 4 and 7, as the thermals start to kick up, the wind starts to kick up, the sun starts coming up, and the warning goes from 45 mile an hour winds with gusts as high as 60, as it is right now, to 60 mile an hour sustained with winds as high as 100 miles an hour with the gusts, and nobody's going anywhere. There are a lot of drivers that I run into who refuse to drive before the sun comes up. This is Wyoming. As I've said before in some of my previous videos, Wyoming is its own beast. You have to learn to play the Wyoming game and work with the weather in Wyoming according to Wyoming's rules. Otherwise, you're going to sit for days.
Warning ahead.
So, this is one of the reasons I like to run graveyard. Because I can run through weather that would normally shut other trucks down because I'm not fighting the thermal winds. Some of these guys in their high beams, man, learn to shut that shit off. It's like the 6th truck I've seen in the last 10 miles where they will not shut off the high beams. We're almost to Laramie. Once we get to Laramie, it should be smooth sailing all the way to the Nebraska state line. Believe you me, I'm gonna haul ass. Sidney, Nebraska. Left-hand side, you'll see the headquarters for Cabela's. For those who are not from the United States, Cabela's is a sportsman's store for hunting, firearms, archery, fishing, outdoorsmen. They also do stuff with boats, and there's a whole lot there. That's the national headquarters on the left-hand side.